Look at this face. I am 37 years old. I am the president of Burkina Faso. And according to the standards of African leadership, I am a child. The average age of an African president is 63 years old. 63. Men who were born before independence. Men who have been in power longer than most of their citizens have been alive. Men who will die in their presidential palaces because they cannot imagine life without power. Now look at Africa's population. The average age is 19 years old. The youngest continent on Earth, ruled by the oldest leaders on Earth. Do you see the problem? A 63-year-old man ruling a country where most people are teenagers. A man who remembers colonialism, telling young people about a future he will never see. A man clinging to power while his nation's youth drown in the Mediterranean, trying to escape. This is Africa's crisis. Not poverty, not war, not disease. Old men who refuse to let go. I am 37. I did not plan to be president. I did not spend decades scheming for power. I did not inherit this position from my father. I took responsibility because someone had to. And do you know what I earn as president? $500 a month. The same salary I earned as a military captain. The same salary I will earn until the day I leave office. They offered me $76,000 a year, the official presidential salary. I refused. Why would I take money from a country where children go hungry? Why would I enrich myself while my people struggle? Why would I become the very thing I fought against? This is the difference between me and them. I serve, they rule. Like this video, like it now, because this message needs to reach every young African who has been told that leadership means old men in expensive suits stealing their future. Comment below. Tell me your age. Tell me where you are watching from. Let the algorithm know that young Africa is paying attention. Share this video. Send it to someone who thinks Africa cannot change. Send it to someone who has given up hope. Subscribe, because I will keep telling these truths whether they like it or not. Now, let me introduce you to the dinosaurs who rule Africa. Teodoro Obiang Nguema, President of Equatorial Guinea. He has been in power for 45 years. 45 years. He took power in 1979 by overthrowing and executing his own uncle. He has been president ever since. His son, Teodorin, owns a $35 million mansion in Malibu. He owns a collection of supercars worth tens of millions. He owned Michael Jackson's white crystal glove. He throws parties that cost millions, while his people live on less than $2 a day. Obiang's personal wealth is estimated at over $600 million. Some estimates say billions. In a country where most citizens have no clean water, no health care, no future. He is 82 years old. He has been in power since before I was born, and he shows no sign of leaving. This is leadership. This is service. This is what Africa deserves. Paul Biya, President of Cameroon. He has been in power for 42 years, since 1982. He is 91 years old. 91. He spends more time in luxury hotels in Geneva and Paris than in his own country. Some years, he has spent over 400 days outside Cameroon. His people joke bitterly that they are governed from Swiss hotel suites. His wealth is estimated at over $200 million. His wife spends tens of thousands on shopping trips in Paris. His regime has crushed opposition, jailed journalists, and killed protesters. He is older than most African countries. He took power when the internet did not exist, when mobile phones were science fiction, when today's young Cameroonians were not even born, and still he clings to power. Still, he cannot imagine letting go. Still, he treats Cameroon like his personal property. Yoweri Museveni, president of Uganda. He has been in power for 39 years, since 1986. He is 80 years old. He came to power promising democracy. He said leaders who overstay are a problem for Africa. He said no one should be president for more than 2 terms. Then he changed the Constitution. Then he removed term limits. Then he removed age limits. Then he became exactly what he once criticized. His family controls key positions in the military and government. His son, Muhuzi, commands the army and openly talks about taking over. The Museveni dynasty is preparing to rule Uganda forever. And Ugandans, 50% of them are under 15 years old. Half the country was not alive when Museveni took power. They have never known another leader. They cannot imagine another future. These are the rulers of Africa. Old men with young countries. Dinosaurs with billion-dollar bank accounts. Men who have more years in power than their citizens have years alive. And then there is me. I am 37. I have been president since 2022. I earn $500 a month. I own no mansions. I have no Swiss bank accounts. I have no supercars. I wake up at 4 in the morning. I work until midnight. I visit the front lines where our soldiers fight terrorists. I eat the same food as my troops. I sleep in the same conditions. This is not sacrifice. This is duty. When I was offered the presidential salary of $76,000 a year, I asked a simple question. How can I take this money when teachers earn $100 a month? How can I take this money when nurses work without supplies? How can I take this money when young people cannot find jobs? I could not take it. My conscience would not allow it. So I kept my captain's salary. $500. Enough to live, not enough to forget where I came from. Let me show you what these dictators have stolen. Obiang, $600 million in a country of 1 million people. That is $600 stolen from every man, woman, and child. Biya, $200 million, while Cameroonians flee to Europe in rickety boats, while young people are shot for protesting. Museveni, estimated $50 million or more, while Uganda remains one of the poorest countries on earth, while his citizens cannot afford medicine. The Dos Santos family of Angola, over $20 billion. Isabel dos Santos alone was worth over $2 billion, in a country where children die of malnutrition. Mobutu Sese Seko stole $5 billion from the Democratic Republic of Congo. He had palaces across Europe while his people starved. Sani Abacha stole over $4 billion from Nigeria. His loot is still being recovered from bank accounts around the world, decades after his death. Added up, tens of billions of dollars, hundreds of billions over the decades. Money that should have built schools, money that should have built hospitals, money that should have built roads and factories and futures. Instead, it built mansions in Paris. It bought supercars in Dubai. It filled bank accounts in Switzerland. It funded shopping sprees and private jets and parties that cost more than entire villages earn in a year. This is the crime. This is the betrayal. This is why young Africans drown in the Mediterranean. They are not fleeing poverty. They are fleeing theft. They are not escaping Africa. They are escaping the old men who stole their future. Now let me tell you about Thomas Sankara. When Sankara was president of Burkina Faso, he owned one car, not a fleet of Mercedes, one car, a Renault 5, a small, simple car that any middle-class French family might own. He owned 4 bicycles. He rode them around Ouagadougou, the president on a bicycle. Can you imagine Obiang on a bicycle? Can you imagine Biya pedaling through Yaoundé? He owned 3 guitars. He played music. He was human. His refrigerator was broken. When officials suggested replacing it, he refused. He said there were Burkina Faso who had no refrigerator at all. How could he buy a new one when his people had none? When he died, his bank account had about $350. $350. The president of a nation, after 4 years in power, had less money than a taxi driver. They killed him for this. They killed him because he proved that African leadership does not require theft. They killed him because his example shamed every corrupt leader on the continent. They killed him because he showed that another way is possible. I keep his example in my heart. Every decision I make, I ask, what would Sankara do? Every temptation I face, I remember his broken refrigerator. If he could lead with $350, I can lead with 500. Look at the age gap in African leadership. Average age of African presidents, 63 years old. Average age of African population, 19 years old. This is a 44-year gap. 44 years between the rulers and the ruled. 44 years of disconnect. 44 years of old men making decisions for young people whose lives they cannot understand. In Europe, the average age of leaders is around 55. Still old, but their populations are also older. There is less of a gap. In Africa, we have the youngest population on Earth, governed by some of the oldest leaders on Earth. This is madness. This is why nothing changes. This is why young people feel unheard. What does an 80-year-old man know about the dreams of a 19-year-old? What does someone born in 1943 understand about social media, about climate anxiety, about the digital economy, about the world young people actually live in? Nothing. They know nothing. They cannot know. And so they rule based on the past. They make decisions based on a world that no longer exists. They cling to power because power is all they know. Meanwhile, young Africans innovate. They create. They dream. They build apps and start businesses and imagine futures that their leaders cannot comprehend. And then they leave. They take their energy and talent and dreams to Europe, to America, to anywhere that will have them, because their own countries, ruled by old men, have no place for them. This is the tragedy. Not that young Africans cannot succeed, that they cannot succeed at home. I am 37. I understand young people because I was one recently. I understand social media because I use it. I understand the frustrations of youth because I felt them. When young Burkina Faso talk to me, they do not see a distant grandfather figure from another era. They see someone who remembers what it is like to be young in Africa. Someone who remembers the struggle to find work. Someone who remembers the temptation to leave. This is not about age discrimination. There are wise old leaders and foolish young ones. Age alone does not determine quality. But when old leaders use their position to enrich themselves, to stay in power forever, to crush the aspirations of youth, then age becomes a symptom of the disease. The disease is not being old. The disease is refusing to let go, refusing to serve, refusing to sacrifice. Obiang is not bad because he is 82. He is bad because he has stolen hundreds of millions while his people starve. He is bad because 45 years in power was not enough for him. He is bad because he executed his own uncle and would do anything to keep his throne. Biya is not bad because he is 91. He is bad because he governs from Swiss hotels. He is bad because he has crushed all opposition. He is bad because 42 years of his leadership has left Cameroon poorer and more desperate than ever. The problem is not their age. The problem is their greed. Their age just makes the greed more obscene. When I became president, I was 34 years old. I was the youngest head of state in the world at that time. Some said I was too young, too inexperienced, too untested. They said Burkina Faso needed a steady hand, an older statesman, someone with more gray hair. I asked, where did the gray hair get us? 40 years of corruption, coups and counter-coups, poverty that never ended, young people fleeing, terrorists advancing. The experienced leaders had their chance, decades of chances. And what did they deliver? A country that could not feed itself, a military that could not defend itself, a population that had lost hope. Maybe it was time to try something different. Maybe it was time for someone who had more future than past. Maybe it was time for someone who would actually have to live with the consequences of their decisions. I will not be president forever. I do not want to be. When my time is done, I will leave. I will hand over power to the next generation. I will become a citizen again, with my $500 salary saved up and my conscience clean. Can Obiang say the same? Can Biya? Can Museveni? They will die in power. They will be carried out of their palaces feet first. They cannot imagine being ordinary citizens because they have forgotten what ordinary citizens are. Let me talk about the Ghana inauguration. In January 2025, I attended the inauguration of Ghana's new president, John Mahama. 21 African heads of state were there. Leaders from across the continent gathered for a ceremony of democracy. When I arrived, something unexpected happened. The crowd erupted, cheers louder than for anyone else, chants of my name, young Ghanaians rushing toward the barriers, waving, shouting, celebrating. I am not Ghanaian. Burkina Faso is not Ghana. Yet they cheered for me louder than for their own neighboring presidents. Why? Because young Africans are watching. They see the difference. They see the old men in expensive suits, and they see me in military uniform earning $500. They see leaders who steal, and they see one who refuses. They see dinosaurs, and they see someone their own age. This is not about me personally. This is about what I represent: hope, change, the possibility that Africa can be led differently. Young Ghanaians were not cheering for Ibrahim Traoré. They were cheering for the idea that their generation can lead. They were cheering for the dream that Africa does not have to be ruled by thieves forever. That cheering scared the old leaders. They saw their future in those young faces. They saw their obsolescence. They saw that the youth of Africa are no longer willing to wait quietly for the dinosaurs to die. Now, let me speak directly to different groups. To the young people of Africa, you are not the problem. You are the solution. Your energy, your creativity, your dreams, these are Africa's greatest resources. Do not believe them when they say you are too young. Do not believe them when they say you must wait your turn. Do not believe them when they say experience means 40 years of theft. Your time is now, not in 30 years when you are as old as them. Now. Run for office, start businesses, demand representation, make noise, refuse to be invisible, refuse to be patient while they steal your future. You are 19 on average. They are 63. There are more of you than there are of them. If you stand together, if you vote together, if you demand together, they cannot stop you. To the old leaders who are watching, your time is ending. You can feel it. You can see it in the crowds that cheer for young leaders. You can hear it in the voices of youth demanding change. You have a choice. Leave with dignity or be remembered with disgust. Hand over power peacefully or be swept away. Become elder statesmen who guide the next generation or become cautionary tales of greed and corruption. History is watching. Your children are watching. Your grandchildren will read about you. What will the books say? Will they say you served your nation, or will they say you robbed it? Will they say you built institutions, or will they say you destroyed them to stay in power? Will they say you mentored young leaders, or will they say you crushed them? The choice is yours, but choose quickly, because young Africa is no longer asking permission. To the African diaspora, come home, or help from where you are. Africa needs your skills, your education, your connections. Do not give up on the continent because of the dinosaurs. The dinosaurs are dying. A new generation is rising, and we need you to be part of it. Invest in African businesses. Support African innovators. Vote in African elections if you can. Speak up for African causes. The Africa you left is changing. The Africa of your parents is transforming. Be part of the transformation. To the international community, stop propping up dictators. Stop welcoming stolen money into your banks. Stop hosting the children of thieves in your luxury apartments. When Traoré in Obiang buys a $35 million mansion in Malibu, someone sells it to him. When Biya stays in 5-star Geneva hotels for months, someone takes his money. When stolen billions flow into Swiss banks, someone opens the accounts. You are complicit. Your financial systems enable the theft. Your cities shelter the thieves. Your universities educate their children, while African children have no schools. If you truly support African development, stop being the fence for African stolen goods. Freeze the accounts. Seize the mansions. Return the money to the people it was stolen from. Let me tell you what I am building in Burkina Faso. With my $500 salary, I cannot be bought. When someone offers me a bribe, I laugh. What could they offer me that would be worth betraying my people? I already have enough to live. I do not need more. This gives me freedom. Freedom to make decisions based on what is right, not what is profitable. Freedom to challenge powerful interests. Freedom to be honest. We are building schools with the money we refuse to steal. We are building hospitals with the contracts we refuse to take kickbacks on. We are building roads with the budgets we refuse to inflate. We are fighting terrorists with soldiers who know their president sleeps in the same conditions they do. Morale is different when leaders share sacrifice. Morale is different when the president visits the front lines, not Geneva hotels. We are negotiating with foreign powers from a position of integrity. When I sit across from mining executives or foreign ministers, they know I cannot be bribed. They know my price is not money. My price is respect for Burkina Faso. This is what clean leadership enables. Not just morality, effectiveness. Not just principles, power. When you cannot be bought, you cannot be controlled. The future of Africa is young. By 2050, Africa will have the largest workforce on earth. More than China, more than India. Young, energetic, ambitious people ready to build, create, innovate. This is either our greatest opportunity or our greatest tragedy. If those young people are empowered, supported, led by leaders who understand them, Africa will transform the world. If they are crushed, ignored, robbed by old men clinging to power, they will leave or rebel or despair. The dinosaurs do not see this. They cannot see past their own mortality. They are racing to steal as much as possible before they die. They are preparing their children to steal after them. They are building dynasties of theft. But dynasties fall, always. The Mobutus fall. The Abacha fall. The Gaddafi fall. No one rules forever, no matter how hard they try. The only question is what comes after. What will young Africans inherit? Institutions or ruins? Treasuries or debts? Nations or territories controlled by foreign powers? This is what we fight for. Not just today, tomorrow. Not just ourselves, those who come after. I will not be president forever. I need you to understand this. I did not take power to keep it. I took power to fix what was broken and hand over something better. When Burkina Faso is stable, when the terrorists are defeated, when institutions are strong, when young people have opportunities, I will leave. I will return to being a soldier or a farmer or whatever else life brings. I do not want statues. I do not want my face on currency. I do not want airports named after me. I want to walk through Ouagadougou as an ordinary citizen and see schools that work. I want to sit in a cafe and hear young people discussing opportunities, not escape routes. I want to be forgotten as a president and remembered maybe as someone who served when service was needed. This is the difference. The dinosaurs want immortality. I want usefulness. They measure success in years in power. I measure success in problems solved. They want to be remembered forever. I want to be succeeded by someone better. Let me leave you with this. Africa is young. Africa is talented. Africa is ready. The only thing holding Africa back is the old men who refuse to let go, the thieves who steal futures, the dinosaurs who cannot imagine a world without their power. But dinosaurs die. They always die. And when they die, they leave fossils. Interesting to study, impossible to follow. The young leaders are coming. In Burkina Faso, in Mali, in Niger. Across the continent, a new generation is rising. We may not be perfect. We will make mistakes. But we will make new mistakes, not repeat the same ones for 45 years. I am 37. I earn $500 a month. I sleep 4 hours a night working for my people. And I will leave power when my work is done. This is the new African leadership. Not kings, servants. Not thieves, builders. Not dinosaurs, humans. Join us, support us. Demand leaders like us in your own countries. Because if young Africa stands together, no amount of stolen billions can stop us. No number of dinosaurs can hold us back. No force on earth can prevent the future from arriving. The old Africa is dying. The new Africa is being born, and I am proud to be part of the birth. Now, before I finish, did you like this video? If not, do it now. Did you comment your age and country? Do it. Let me see where young Africa is watching from. Did you share it? Send it to one person who needs hope. Did you subscribe? Join the movement. 37 years old, $500 a month, working for the future, not stealing it. This is what African leadership should look like. This is Burkina Faso. This is Africa. This is the revolution. Young continent, young leaders, new future, homeland or death. We shall overcome. And we will overcome, because the future belongs to those who show up for it, not those who steal from it. Long live young Africa. Long live everyone who believes that change is possible. Until victory, always.